Hey, how we doing? Welcome to another Master Solo DMZ, and today we're going to be going over the updated spawns for both Ashika Island and Al Mazrah. Now, the spawns have definitely been improved, and they are a lot better, especially for Al Mazrah, because before there's some really like PvP hotspot zones where you would end up getting into PvP within about a minute, even sometimes less. And they have definitely been updated, and there's only one bad spawn that I can show you today. Everything else is just marked green. It's not too bad. There's going to be a few places where there's a bit more, and we'll be going over that in the map. But it's a lot better, a lot improved. The thing I do want to talk about though is for people who haven't learned player spawns, don't know what we're kind of going on about. Player spawns are going to be the best thing you should know as a DMZ player, solo, squad. Knowing exactly where players spawn is just going to help you out greatly. Okay, it's going to help you with your missions. Okay, it's going to help you survive. When I say missions, there's a lot more PvP missions. Okay, there's a lot more things where you have to say get a certain amount of kills with using a certain gun and things like that. I know in the later stages there's even more type of things going on. So knowing the player spawns is going to help you with that, right? It's going to help you get a head start, maybe get a few kills at the start, right? If you're a PvE, it's going to help you avoid those, those kind of kills at the start, okay? It's going to help you avoid them and kind of go towards the areas where there shouldn't be as much PvP. I mark all this down on the map and give some information on that. So this is just going to help you survive. It's going to help you complete your missions. And overall, it should just make your experience in DMZ better. Okay, so this is what the importance of player spawns. I will always preach about it. I always talk about it. Any game you play, any FPS game you play, knowing spawns is one of the most one of the biggest things as an FPS fundamental you should learn. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Okay, boys, here is the Al Mazrah updated spawns. Now I have just color coded everything green because the spawns are a lot better. I have put one as a bad spawn. Everything else at the minute is pretty decent, and I'm going to go through some which will be a bit more PvP orientated than others. There is a few which are closer than others, few which I have a few predictions on where you may get into PvP, and this is where I'll put possible early PvP zones marked as red skulls. Now let's just go over the bad player spawn. I've got an example of this just to show you in a minute, and it basically just shows if you spawn here at the Suwa village on this side. I've marked this one as green because you're not in danger here because you can literally just move forward and not get shot by these guys, right? But if you spawn here on the pier, you're gonna have a bad time. It's not great because there's not really too much cover, and if these guys are very good snipers and they know about the spawn, they can start sniping you. So my best advice for this spawn is to jump straight into the water and head over to the top part of the port. Okay, and then even if you get to there, you then also have the fact that these guys may end up pushing downwards and not go to quarry or go to caves, right? So this is a very bad spawn. This is why I've marked it as a bad spawn, because it doesn't matter what you do, there's a possibility that you may get into PvP, right? From either this spawn or these people shooting at you straight away, which is a bit annoying. I hope they kind of fix this spawn. This is the one they should definitely fix. All the other ones are really pretty decent, to be honest. They're pretty solid spawns. You got these ones here at the top here are pretty close together, but you can avoid them by just obviously going into the airport or moving towards the village up this way. This is a predicted hotspot here, so the possible early PvP zone skulls are where I put like predictions on where I think people may end up getting into fights, right, at the early start, especially later on once missions start to get completed and people need to do PvP missions, especially where they're going to start actually hunting people to complete their missions. These places could be hotspots, right? The city is always quite a hotspot. You've got quite a few spawns around here, People like to go into the city for looting, so this is always going to be a PvP hotspot. Tower Village can now be quite a big hotspot because you've got people spawning on either side of it, and this person's got a choice. You can kind of go towards Village and possibly get in a fight, or you might go towards Oil and get into fight with the people here. So these two could be possible new hotspots for PvP, and I've actually got into a few fights myself in Season 2 in the Village and Rahu Oil, kind of at the start. Quarry can also be another place, so if this person here moves up here and this person doesn't want to go to Oil, needs to do something in Quarry maybe, again, this could be, you got a free spawns kind of around the area, so Quarry could also end up being a bit of a PvP hotspot. So a Village, again, always going to be a PvP hotspot, even though the hotel roof has been boarded up. There is another place which I show in my previous video where you can get in and get some loot, so these guys could end up going that way and fighting over that. So this is another one. This place is a really nice spawn. If you spawn inside city, you're pretty much having a really nice spawn. This one is a really nice spawn near Ashika Village because you can just move away. 7th Bay is not too bad of a spawn. You just need to keep an eye on these guys and make sure they don't come down the road, but you would have the advantage here by just getting on top of the buildings somewhere, and you can most probably defend yourself, so it's a good spawn. Airport is always going to be a hot spot. It always is, you know, always things happening. It's good loot there, good places to regain, and so these guys could always meet each other still, even though they've been separated a bit more. You can still easily meet each other quite fast, and these guys can meet each other quite fast if you're heading towards Ashika Village. But overall, the spawns are a lot better for Al Mazrah. I am very impressed with the spawns, and when I've been spawning in Al Mazrah, I haven't really got into too much PvP straight away, unless you go over here. Right at the minute, this one's just a really bad spawn, but they have definitely been improved. I think if they can just improve this spawn, I think the overall overall fighting Al Mazrah at the start has been kind of fixed. And you can kind of just go about your way. You can definitely avoid the spawns a lot easier. There's a lot of kind of places which have been fixed, which ended up starting PvP literally at the start of, like, you know, within a minute. This place used to be really bad, didn't it? With like 3 spawns here. This has definitely been separated out. This looks, sorry, badder than it looks. This is actually that warehouse, so they gotta go all the way up here and just to find these guys. And by the time that you've mostly gone into Ashika Village, you got cover. This is not too bad. So the spawns now are a lot better, and you expect to get into PvP a lot longer in the actual raid, mostly like 5 minutes in. You can now expect it instead of being like a minute. It is a lot better. So definitely a big thank you to, you know, Infinite Ward and Knights for fixing these spawns a lot better, definitely a lot better. So moving on to Ashika Island, we have only 6 spawns. Okay, so these are all really good spawns. There's no real bad spawn, and you're not going to get instantly rushed by someone like straight away. They're very, very good spawns, all separated out pretty well. I will go over the fact that there could be a few spots where you could get into PvP though. Okay, so these 2 spawns here are quite close to the farms, so be wary if you do spawn here and you go to the farms that the other spawn could be here too and fighting, right? And obviously the other one is I call it Takeshi's Castle. People around this area could all be pushing up to try and do weapon cases and stuff like that, so this is always going to be a hot spot. The other unusual hotspot I've seen a lot of fighting at, for me anyway, is this area here, this little ruins area, because there is a vault here, a cache vault, and people sometimes see the things coming down here, and this one sometimes rushes over to this one. So if you do spawn here and you come up here and kill the PvE and do the vault here, just be wary that maybe this spawn may act on that and hear the shooting and stuff, and maybe push up. I had someone actually kill me the other day where these guys must have pushed up around the hill here, and they kind of rained down on me here, and I didn't notice it, and I got absolutely wrecked. So just be wary of this one. Keep a lookout if you are doing the vault here. Okay, the other ones here, the other kind of hot spots would be Beach Club because of the missions around here, and the the area here, the city town hall, I think it's called, sorry if it isn't, but yeah, the hall, and then the town center. There's a possible place that it could be a bit of PvP here. Obviously there's a lot of strongholds and people like to do the strongholds, so just remember about the strongholds when you do spawn in, that people may be also coming towards those strongholds. And then the other obviously hotspots underneath the map, trying to do some of the missions down there. There's missions related stuff down there, and another way to get into Takeshi's castle. So just be wary if you do go into the actual tunnels that there could be fights around there. Overall, Ashika Island is really good, and I do like the spawns. I actually just love the whole map in general. I think it's an awesome map. Bear in mind when it comes to player count, I know people say there's 64 players in the map. Most of the time from my testing after we're finding out about the player spawn thing where you can see how many players are in a game at this time, every single time I've been spawning into Al Mazrah, it's only been around 31, 32 players around that area, around the 30-ish area. So just bear in mind, it's mostly around 30 players in Al Mazrah at a time by doing that trick. Now, obviously, we're still testing this more and looking into that trick we showed on the previous video, seeing if it is completely accurate, but it does seem to be accurate. Someone put a really good thing or suggestion for saying, is it only showing players which have mics? It could be, but it's very consistent. The players are always around 30 every single time I spawn a in here. And the same with Ashika, there's always around 11 players, 11 or 12. I think it's like 10 or 11 players I see, sometimes 9 players, but it's around that area. Okay, so it's not a ridiculous amount of players on this map, but obviously it is a lot smaller. So you do seem to get into still PvP quite often. So just bear that in mind, especially when you get into the more higher tier PvP missions. There's one I think in tier 5 which requires you to get 15 operator kills in one game. I think that's what I've heard. You're most probably going to win on and doing that on Al Mazrah, right? Because there's going to be a lot more spawns. You may not, I don't think you'll get it on Ashika Island unless you down someone, as in kill them, and then they get revived again. You know what I mean? Something like that. But so you just bear that in mind when you come into actual PvP missions, which map you want to go for, to help you out with those. But I hope this all helps, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below if I've missed the spawn, because there's a possibility I've missed the spawn. What I've been doing, like I said before, is I've just been spawning in, killing myself, spawning in, killing myself, and I've been doing that throughout the week when I've been on just mucking about. So let me know if there's any I may have missed. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon for some more DMZ.